We're here. This is where we are, right? I thought to myself, we are now 4 journeys in. We're going to say 4 clicks together. 4 clicks together. And I got to thinking, what happens when we've had these conversations, we've talked about a lot of stuff, we have suggested doing the work, and yet and still, some of us are in the same place. We have not moved. We have not made the change. Now, I have never been one to tell people what to do. I always say, you are grown. You can do whatever your heart desires. Whatever happens, happens because you are grown. But I also want to take this slight sidestep as an educator and talk about the elephant in the room. When we put one toe in and got one toe out, and we're doing life's hokey pokey, yeah, we are going to get into that. You know, I probably should have brought a glass of wine with me today, but I digress. Hold on. Welcome to Ladies Listen Up. I am your host, Gwendolyn, G.R. Houston Jack. And as your host, your captain of this voyage, I feel like I'm channeling Lakeside. We gotta have some conversations, ladies. Let's have some conversations because I keep thinking to myself, there is a reason why there are so many people who continue to feed certain industries. Let's take, for example, the health and wellness industry. Let's look at that. How many times every single year do people sign up for a wellness program, an exercise program, a gym, and then by the 3rd week of January, they fall out? But then they're back. Like in February, early March, you get the spring body. And then they kind of fall to the wayside. They're like, no, I need the summer body. I have time for the summer body. And then summer comes in. It's like, okay, I'm done. And then they start thinking, well, wait. I got holiday pictures and I need to get it together for the holidays. Can we say foolishness? Can we say foolishness? The back and forth, the kind of in, the kind of out. And I thought to myself, there's a reason why those industries are still in business. We're not committed. We are not committed to the change. We're not committed to being uncomfortable. We're not committed to being inconvenienced, to letting go what we are very aware of. It's an awful relationship with ourselves. Because, it's an awful relationship with ourselves that we just can't seem to put our foot on base. Now, I have my phone here because, I want to make sure I get this right. I am a Star Wars fan. I am. And I love Master Yoda. As a matter of fact, as an educator for adults, adult education, I've done college too, but still, I would quote Master Yoda when I really wanted to get my thought across, because there were so many great examples in Star Wars that if you don't really stop to listen, you're going to miss the message. And Master Yoda had major messages for every single one of us. I know he was talking to Luke, but I was picking up what he was putting down. And it's interesting because I came back to some of those messages years later. As a kid, I didn't get it. As a kid, it didn't resonate. But as an adult who has started her journey of unlearning, I said, ooh, yeah, ooh. Yeah. So let me just say this. I'm going to tell you right now what our topic is. It is do or do not. All right. Let me give you the exact quote. I need my readers here because it is that time, right? Like I am. This is where we are. Okay. So, do or do not. There is no try. Oh, ladies, let's just stop. Let's just unpack that. And clearly, I'm going to have to stop. I'm going to have to come back this time around, and we have to get into word choice. Because I got to break it down, right? Like clearly we have to talk about the words we're using with ourselves. Because it's about word choice. Master Yoda told Luke, do or do not, there is no try. I told my team that too. When they would say, well, I'm trying to sell it. I'm trying to get to work on time. I'm trying to. Are you really? Now somebody told me, Gwendolyn, that doesn't make sense. Because there is always a moment when you are trying. But what exactly is that? What does trying look like? Now, let me just give you my interpretation because I'm with Master Yoda. You either gonna do this or you not gonna do it. There is no in between. Think about baking a cake. Do you kind of bake a cake or do you bake the cake? Do you stop, get all the ingredients for your cake, mix it all up together, put it in for the required time, and get a cake? Or are we just throwing something in and tossing it in, and you're thinking like, okay, well, I guess 15 minutes or whatever. Is that what we're doing? Are you kind of going to work? It's either I'm going to get in my car and get dressed. Well, hopefully you should get dressed before you get in your car. But I'm going to get dressed, get in my car, and go halfway to work and then just like stop. Like I'm not going to make it to work. Everything is it really is how are we doing this? Like, are we all in? When Master Yoda was telling Luke this, it was very clear. You are either going to commit to the change or you're not. And I would tell my team when they would say, well, I'm trying to sell it, but are you? Are you committed to the change? Are you committed to selling this product? Or are you just... This is where when people ask me for advice, I have to go to a place of pick your path. Do you want me to sugarcoat your BS, like co-sign on it, or do you really want to know what the real deal is? You can't have both. You can't say co-sign my BS, but also give me really good, solid advice. You cannot have both because these two things do not go in the same direction. If I'm going to co-sign your BS, I am pretty much telling you, keep doing what you're doing. It's not working, but to make you feel good, I'm going to co-sign on the BS. Or I'm going to say, are you tired of being sick and tired? Are you over it yet? Are you done? Because if you're done, we got to make some different decisions to get different results. That's that do or do not. When people say, well, I'm trying to lose weight. Okay, what are you doing to try to lose it? Well, I kind of work out. I kind of change my diet. Kind of. There is no half-stepping here. We're talking about making a life change for ourselves, for nobody else. And like anything, any kind of change for a person, the person has to want to make the change, has to be willing and open and prepared and committed to making the change. Otherwise, it's a waste of time. If you involve other people, it's a waste of their time. So let's not do that. Which is why I always ask, which way we going? Because you're not going to waste my time. Or for my sales team, when I would say, how did you go into this situation? How did you prepare yourself to make the sale? Well, I did this, and I knew that they weren't going to buy it. What we don't recognize is that we put stuff out into the universe. Remember that moment of commitment? At that moment of commitment, the universe conspires to assist you. Well, see, you're not committed, right? If I'm talking to my sales team and they're telling me, well, I knew they weren't going to buy it. I don't know how you knew that, because telepathy is not working. I've been like fine tuning all of my signals, and yet and still it's not working. I still must tell my husband exactly what I want for dinner. I cannot miss any detail. If I forget to say add the mustard, I'm not going to get it. If I forget to say I want the thin crust with the XYZ sauce, I'm not going to get it. So telepathy is not working. So how did you know that the result was not going to be what you wanted it to be? You weren't committed. As a matter of fact, you were committed to not succeeding. You were committed to not meeting your sales goal, your health goal, whatever goal you got. You were committed to not meeting it. Is what you put out in the universe. When we're talking about this change, this desire for a better version of ourselves, this desire to live our best life, you got to be committed to that change. You either are going to do the work or you're not. Now, I have on my wall in my home office a collection of race bling, i.e. race medals. The running community calls it race bling because everybody likes a little medal swinging from their neck. And some of these race medals are amazing. So yeah, really, it's the bling bling. But the holder that holds all of my medals is this phrase. It is do or do not. There is no try. When I would go run a half marathon, a 10K, the 15K, the marathon, it was never, I'm going to kind of run it. It was always, I am committed to beating my last personal record. I trained for it. I made decisions to be prepared for it. Changed my diet, did my practice runs, made sure my shoes were ready, got my playlist. I was committed to doing the very best for every single race. Did I always do it? Did I always beat my personal record? That answer is no. No. But I was committed to doing my very best, and I showed up to do my very best, and I completed the task. I didn't come in first because, man, ain't nobody. Gwendolyn is not that runner. I'm not coming in first. Okay, well, there was a smaller community race that I did come in first in my age group, so hence smaller community race. But on these big scenes, these big scenes with these professionals, no. I was committed to beating my personal record, my PR, and I was committed to finishing. That is it. That was my goal. That's it. I didn't need anything else. But are you committed to the change? Now, we talk a good talk. A lot of us talk a good talk. We say a lot of stuff. We're still in the same boat. I want to clean up my credit. I want to be more financially sound. I want to be more financially savvy. I want to increase my savings. Have you changed your spending habits? Have we adjusted our budget? Have we looked at the budget? Do we have a budget? Now, I have told you all, I have experienced my financial woes. And the only thing that kept me motivated and focused on the task at hand was, when this debt is gone, I'm going to be so much happier because it's off my back. And so I may have wanted the shoes. I may have wanted to go out. I may have wanted to go out to dinner. I may have wanted to buy this. None of that meant more than getting rid of the debt. There wasn't a try. It was, I am committed to doing better with my finances. I am committed to putting aside money for XYZ. I am committed to taking 2 of my paychecks and putting it towards the student loan. And I learned to live within a certain amount of money. Changed. Committed to the change. This is where we are. Some of us are saying one thing and doing the same old thing and wondering why we're getting the same old results. Now, we said this before. Nothing changes if nothing changes. I'm going to give it to you the way that Master Yoda does. We either going to do this or we're not doing it. Which is also what I told myself to. I would tell them, look, we either going to do this or we're not doing it. Because you don't have to come to work. You don't have to come to work every day. You cannot get out of your bed. You cannot waste gas, time, and money coming to this job just to come here and not work. You can stay home. You can stay home. You can find some other job that brings you joy, but you ain't got to keep coming back here. But we either gonna do this job or we not gonna do this job. That's it. This is the line, ladies. This is the line. We are either going to make this commitment to the change or we're not. There is no try. There is no try. When you commit to the moment, and when you say, okay, for this week, because I know some of y'all, you want to run a marathon without proper training. You can do it. I'm not, to each his own. I prefer, though, a more couch to 5K approach. Actually, not even a 5K, just do the mile, but that's another. Pace yourself. But we're going to talk about doing the work. Just give me one moment. I'm finna get there. We are at the line. This is where we are. And we are now at a place where we have to decide, am I in or am I out? Because I believe it's great to attend classes, go on retreats, read the books. There's a reason why these businesses are still in business. Because we're not committed to the change. We're not trying to change. It just feels good to say, yes, I'm working on that too. And I have done nothing. That's how I say in business. Broken promises. Selling you tons of stuff that you're never going to use. So let's do this. Let's flip it. Let's talk about doing the work. Are we ready? Are we ready? Okay. So let me break this down really quick. And I'm going to use running as my analogy. Because, something about single person sports always works well when it comes to life. Because in real talk, if you think about people who run or cycle or do any sport, you have to focus on right here. This one person. Okay? Because when you are running against your previous record. That's why they call it a PR, personal record. I don't care what Susie doing. I don't care what Billy's doing. And I don't care about Shamika and Tanya and Jerome. Don't nobody care. Ain't got nothing to do with you. This is your race. This is your life. This is your journey. Where we lose ourselves, where we lose that commitment, is that we want to go from the sofa to running a marathon. Now, I'm not saying that you can't do that. But check it. The human body, in my opinion, wasn't really built to do like 26.2 miles. Highly overrated, by the way. Highly. Because these legs, that lactic acid starts building up. You're like, oh, there's a cramp. But more than that, this mind right here, the mind games. First of all, the first mile is the hardest. Because you're getting up early, you have paid for this race, and you're saying to yourself, what was I thinking? I paid for this? I paid for this punishment? In what world does that make sense? So your mind is saying, just give up. Just stop. You don't have to finish. It's okay if you don't finish. Just stop. So a good chunk of the practice that we do for running a 5K, a 10K, the 15K, the marathon, it is practicing getting the mind and the body and the spirit in line. Now your body has its own thing, right? Because it's trying to figure out the shock of it all. But your mind has to say, I can do this. I can do it. That's why in the running community, we say, just keep running. Just keep moving. I have yet to run an entire marathon. I have run an entire half marathon back when I was really running. But if you have to walk through a water station, it's okay. You're still moving towards the finish line. It's okay. But you'll have people tell you, oh my God, if you have to walk, that's not great. You're not. No. The focus is to keep moving. That is it. Sometimes you're going to have to walk. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, my very first marathon, ooh, Lord bless, I almost didn't make it. Real talk. Now, I practiced all of my runs. Lean chicken, brown rice, veggies, I was on it. And I just knew my very first marathon in Jamaica was going to be the best. I was like, I am ready. It starts at 5 o'clock in the morning because it's so hot in December in Jamaica. And they want people to get out of the heat before people start falling and passing out. Well, Gwendolyn had a minor foot problem. Right? It was like 6 miles in. My foot was like, hey, sis, we're not going to make it. And I was like, well, I took off my shoe. I ended up taking off my shoe at one point because it was hurting me so bad. I don't know what it was, the pain, it was awful. Add to that, they ran out of water. Now, I don't mind a sports drink, but there's a certain point in your run where you just need water because it is hotter than the dickens out here in Jamaica. And all I wanted was some water. They didn't have it. Man on the bike said, well, maybe at the next station they'll probably get some. I'm thinking, I can't make it to the next station. I'm about to. So another guy came through and said, hey, how are you doing? Because I've got my shoe off. I am limping, kind of like trucking along. The little train that could, yes. I said, I need some water. He gets it. He comes back. And I take this water. Now, I thought there was a wall behind me. There was, but it wasn't that close. My eyes were playing tricks on me. And I fell back. And he was like, and I'm calling the ambulance. Now, check it. I'm good to be in the ambulance to bring the temperature down because I was really, really overheated. But the moment they close the door and drive off, I'm disqualified. I have paid for a trip to Jamaica. I have paid for this race fee. I don't get that back. And all I thought was, I can't leave here empty-handed. I said, I'm done. I'm good. I said, are you sure? I am done. I'm good. So I got back out. I'm hobbling. They're following me because they're like, this heifer finna pass out. She don't even know it. But when she pass out, we want to be right there to catch her. Now, believe it or not, I actually passed 2 people on the way to the finish line. Did not make my time, no. But I finished. I was committed to finishing that race. I don't care what obstacles came up. I took the time I needed to get myself together, i.e., getting the water, getting cooled off in the ambulance, who just blasted the AC on me. But the moment I was solid, I was like, I'm good. Let's do it. I'm back on the road. That's you. When you start this journey of living your best life, of letting go all that you have learned that probably was not in your favor anyway, you're going to get bumps in the road. You're going to get knocked down. You're going to feel like giving up. You got to remind yourself what is waiting at the finish line. And for us, it was red stripe or coconut water at the coconut and a really great massage on the grilled beach. Yes, I did that. I did it. Doesn't matter how long it takes you. The idea is to finish. Commit to the moment. And as they say, at the moment of commitment, the universe will conspire to assist you. It will bring you the people you need to get through this journey. It will bring you the help you need to get through this journey. But you got to commit to it. Don't try to make a change. Commit to the change. And lastly, as always, give yourself the space and grace to grow and learn. See you in the next one.